Hello friends, you're with the Lonesome Gamer and I'm playing 7 Ages. And well, a few things happened in the last turn. The Dutch expanded a little bit. The Russians destroyed the Ukrainians that just showed up, and they managed to destroy them right away by building up a big army with a good financier and some militia, and yeah, they ended up with this big stack here. The English, they created some colonies in Mexico and down here in the Rio Grande do Sul. And the Satavahana and the Vietnamese, they made that deal not to attack each other, basically because they both can get what they want without doing each other harm. The reason for that is that the Vietnamese also want to be big on the sea, which is not necessary for the Satavahana. The red player goes first, and he's now sharing the lead with the yellow player. Gray is close behind. So it's really still a very interesting game, and we can now start looking towards the end here. I mean, just in case yellow says, okay, I want to finish that game as fast as possible, you can say, okay, I'm going to trade, I don't know, 3 times or something, and then in 5 turns or so, it would be over maybe. So, in theory, this game might not take that terribly long anymore. I guess something between 5 and 10 turns, which is long, but, you know, it's compared to what we've seen, I think we'll make it pretty fast through these last 2 ages, especially because you get 7 points if you are the first one who finishes on space 50, basically. Okay, so now we start an empire, and green goes first. Now the green player starts these Hausa city-states. They can be started in the 6th age with 14 bucks. 1 income per desert during production. Count desert and harvest glory. Earn income from winning trade equal to the difference between total trade values. Okay, so that's definitely that's another trade empire. They have a trade modifier of +0, which gives them an advantage to the Zimbabweans or also the Ethiopians, which have a trade modifier of -1. In addition, they gain points for being rich. So overall, I would say they are more interesting, considering these points, than the other 2 empires which control now Africa. Okay, so this is my army that cost me all the 14 bucks. And they start here in the desert. I remember that the Benin disaster here, same color. It's not a great omen actually, but maybe they have a better chance. Okay, so do they have a leader? I doubt it. No leader here. Okay. And then we see another empire get started, and that's now really a nasty maneuver. The yellow player, he's playing the modern state, and yeah, that's really a tough one. That's revenge for the loss of the Ukraine. What the yellow player will do now is any controlled land area, convert units in start area if they belong to an empire whose capital is in another region. May promote leader after setup. Now honestly, I wonder what a region is. Maybe I was a little too optimistic here. I was hoping to enter here, but now I got a feeling that might not be possible. What does another region exactly mean? I think it might be more the continents or something like that. Okay, so it doesn't work that way. I was hoping to get this big stack here, but that's not possible now. Well, what I could do instead is I could grab this here. Yeah, I think I'm going to do this. I might have to face this army, but still, I think that's not a bad idea. I'm going to start the modern state in, I think it's Sumeria, is it? Mesopotamia. And because the capital is here in Europe, and this army here is in Asia, I can convert all these guys, which is extremely painful for the Armenian player. And well, I'm pretty sure that's basically now the end for all hopes for the pink player. He's already far behind. The Ethiopians were doing bad, the Armenians were not doing great. Only the English are an interesting power. But yeah, I mean, so they start now this modern state, and they gain an additional $15 in addition to the army they have here. And they can also take the administrator, which makes the units cheaper. Yeah, that's basically it. Okay, so now these are actually the units we converted. You see, quite some good units, and these are the ones we purchased. They were cheaper because of this administrator that we could also convert. And of course, the capital is also converted. So we also have now an extremely big army, which might be powerful enough to face the Russian army if they should decide to move down to this area. But I'm really not sure anymore if they want to do that. I think that was their first plan, maybe simply moving down here, grab these fertile areas here. But now that they see that there is an army, a matching enemy there, they probably might prefer simply moving east and spreading out in Asia and simply getting the points without a fight. Okay. Okay, so now as you can see, these are indeed two massive stacks here, and the modern states army is even bigger than the Russian army, but the Russian army has these stronger counters. So, but I think they don't want to waste their powers fighting each other. That might not be necessary here. Okay, there's no money left, by the way. And that was the start empire action. And we might see some production now. Let me see. Yeah, the Dutch. They want to do a production action because they want to place some units here in their colonies to restore order. So let's see how much money they get. Well, nothing out of their colonies, but this stuff is worth a little bit. 3, these are each 4, so that would be 8. So that's 11. The lowlands are 2, that's 13. And that city, so that's 16, but they have to pay quite a bit of maintenance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So overall it's only an income of 6. And maybe actually somebody might try to do some damage to them. I'm not sure if the player really wants to do that, but I think yeah, I think actually he plays the drought. The pink player plays the drought. Play when target empire starts production. The only income it earns from land areas is from cities and oil. So this is now really painful because the only city is here, that capital. I guess Amsterdam. So they only earn $3, and that's it. They got 2 spent, so they have now 5, and they have to pay maintenance. So that's now a real problem. They can only afford to keep 5 units, so I guess they want to hold on to the 2 that defend the country and these 3, and then they lose all of their colonies. Yeah, okay. There we go. The disorder markers also go away now. And only that neutral city in Labrador stays. So that's another tough round for the Dutch. And yeah, they're broke. Have only little units and are in some real trouble now. Okay, we do another production action, this time with the Japanese. And you gotta imagine that they have an income of 52. This is just ridiculous. But of course they have to pay maintenance. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16. But still that would give them $36. In addition to their a second, 36, that's 69, in addition to their 33. That is just amazing. So basically what they want to do is they want to build some ships. So actually the Japanese can now already build cruisers, and they did that. They purchased these 2 cruisers here, and one is going to be placed here, the other one goes here, and then we place another one here. And because they want to be big on the seas, that's basically all they did. And then in the next turn they can spread out with all their ships, and it's going to be very hard for someone else to compete with them here. So they got to pay $15 for that. That brings them to 54, and they're going to buy another glory point for $25. So that's it might be a little risky. Maybe they shouldn't do that. There are some other guys like these. These are the English. They also have a lot of money. Why do they have so much money? Well, they shouldn't. Wait a second. No, they didn't. Yeah, they didn't spend their money, actually. They shouldn't have that much money. So, well then, I think I might actually risk that. Okay, I'm gonna spend $25, go down to 29, and buy another victory point, which brings me now in the lead. Okay, so that was the production action. And is there another production action? Yes, from the United States. Nope, actually not. No, that's it. And then we come to the trade actions, and we're going to see some trade from the Zimbabweans. And they want to trade with the Ethiopians, I guess. Yeah, why not? So, let's see. I think they're going to use that. This one here, that 5. And the Ethiopians, well, they also want to win that trade, but the best they can. Oh, that's also 5. And they also chosen this trade in progress action, so basically that action is resolved too now. So they both trade with a 5. They both have a -1 trade modifier, so we'll simply see who draws the higher cards. The average of the cards wins, according to my house rule. So the Zimbabweans start. That's a 2. That sucks. And the Ethiopians, oh boy, that's also a 2. So that means we have, oh man, we have a draw here. So that's definitely not good. Okay, so what does that mean now? I think nobody is the winner of the trade, so nobody will gain points for the trade. Bad luck. But I also think that the one who initiated the trade moves one step ahead. but I will check that. Yeah, I actually told the truth. The Zimbabweans were allowed to move one space ahead, and that's basically it then. Do we see another trade action? Yes, the Vietnamese. They are in a dark age, and that's the reason for them to trade. So I think they're going to trade with the Satavahana, which have a trade modifier of -1. The Vietnamese have a trade modifier of 0. So, I think I'm going to throw in that one here, although I really don't know if I want to do that. Okay, I'm going to throw in this card. That's 6. With the Vietnamese. And the Satavahana, well, basically, they don't really want to win or trade. On the other hand, they are technologically pretty far behind, so maybe it's not such a bad idea, but they could throw in that one here. Well, that's a tough one. I don't think I want to do this. I better keep that card for trading. With the Hausa, I guess. Although I'm not sure, actually. They're not... damn it. Okay, I'm gonna try that one. So that means the Vietnamese have a +1 compared to me. So the Vietnamese draw first. That's just a 3. +1 is a 4, so they have a 10. And the Satavahana have not enough, just an 8. Okay, so that allows the Vietnamese now to move ahead. I think one space is fine for them. Now I think they want to move ahead 2 spaces. Just to stay in the race for the final points. And I think that's fine. So, that's then the end of the trade actions, and we come to the maneuver phase. The Irish, wow. They're simply going to try to grow a little bit with their ships here. They move to the Norwegian coast and to the North Sea. They might actually move into Norway, try to establish an outpost there. I think, well, but they might also move. Yeah, they could also move to the New World. Well, actually, I think Norway is fine for me now. Although Sweden could be actually better. So that's 1, 2, 3. I'll move into Sweden. So in case the Dutch should die, I then can try to take their place there, maybe, in the fertile areas of Denmark, Germany, and so on. So then we see a maneuver action by the Russians, and it took me a long time to decide what to do with them. I mean, he has that really big army, so he could attack the Dutch and basically destroy them. But if you think about that, the Dutch are not doing that great anyway, so they might even get discarded in the next turns. So why should take that risk? He could also attack the French. Maybe he can make it to Paris in the next 2 turns or so. And the French army is a little scattered, but it's still present. And if they see now that the Russians come closer, they might also collect their army, and it's going to be a pretty bloody fight then. And I realized that basically this army is not that strong. The units here, well, most of them are, well, not exactly antique, but they are not quite as modern as the French units. So I think overall, it's probably not the best idea to attack the French, and especially because it's not necessary. We want to be big in Asia too, and not only in Europe, and we control Europe easily right now. So overall, maybe it's actually a better idea to say, okay, we do nothing in Europe. We don't care about that. I'm going to simply move with that whole army into these empty spaces here and then spread out very fast and maybe grab some points for Asia. So let's see. I want to leave one of these type of units back here. And now let's see, I can take all these cavalry units. Oh, by the way, I might actually leave that one here. Move with this one into the Black Sea, which is also part of Asia, by the way. So that would give me, that would actually count to Asia. And then we can take these cavalry units and move 3 spaces with all of these. So that is then, well, more or less here. And we can take, oh, wait a second, there's another knight. And we take these cannons. They're only allowed to move 2 spaces. So I'm simply going to move here, I guess. Okay. Fine. Well, what is that? The rare... I know that's the thing about the trading, huh? Yeah. Okay. Okay, we then see another maneuver action by the United States. They're also going to expand. They want to move a little bit to the coast here, so that they can actually start producing some ships. And wait a minute, they might want to get rid of this. That was a level 1 city, I think. So with 2 units they can get rid of this disorder here at the end of the maneuver action. And these guys move here. They might move here. And that guy moves here. Okay, and fine. So this allows us now, in the next turn, well, and actually we have here another one, and he might move here. So we can then build a few ships in the next turn, I guess. Because the Americans want to be the biggest seafaring nation, but that's going to be very hard. They have to compete with the Japanese, and that's going to be very, very hard. But you never know. I mean, they control now a pretty big area, which gives them also a lot of income, but it's going to be a long way until they reach the Japanese when it comes to the income, specifically because of their cities. Okay, so that disorder marker goes away now. And do we have another maneuvering country? Yeah, the English. They want to grow with their colonies a little bit. So they move now here to Argentina with that ship. And, well, to Yucatan. Okay, and finally we see a maneuver action by the French. And this is going to be a little more interesting now. Okay, let's see what we can do. Well, first, I guess this guy, that ship will move to Senegal. And that one, well, this guy can move down here actually, and then they can start together and okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an invasion on Egypt with these two units. So that's a 1, 2, 3, and a 4. And then we got a few more units here. So I will take these units with me and do an invasion on Carthage. And I'm thinking about maybe adding these guys to that invasion here on Carthage. Okay. Then, let's see what else we can do. We can move with this guy here and with that guy here. Okay, fine. And then this guy can move here. Oh boy, and this sucker moves up here. Okay, there we go. Oh man. Okay. So now let's do these battles here. Okay, that's not a big deal. So these ships are in the front line and these are support. I wonder if anybody has a card that he wants to play. Probably not. No, I don't think so. Well, maybe that one. Play when an empire concludes a maneuver. It can immediately take another maneuver. Well, I'm not sure. I don't think that I want that right now. So, oh, this guy is actually here, not part of the battle. We have 8 and additional 8, so that's a 16 against a 3. We have a combat modifier of +2 for the defender because it is an invasion. So that's a 5 against a 16. Well, let's draw the card for the attacker. Well, that's not so great. So that's a 16, okay, and a 5. So the difference is 11, half of that would be 6, so he didn't lose a single unit. Lots of luck here for the attacker. The explorer is killed, and the unit is also gone. In addition, we have now this battle here, and we see how that ends up. It's probably closer. So we have a 9 against a 3 and a combat modifier +2. So that's overall a 9 against a 5. So the attacker draws first. That's a 14 against an 8. The difference would be 6. So here are also no losses, but that city here and the defender's losses, of course. Okay. So there we go. Okay, well, as you can see, the Ethiopians are doing really bad, and I'm pretty sure they will be discarded very soon. Okay, so this is now the end of the maneuver action. And we see a destiny action by not too many players, by the Armenians. They want to find, well, probably 2 new empires they can play before any discards. The target empire play events that could normally be okay. So, well, I think he plays the favor of the gods. Does he? I don't know. I mean, no, I don't think so, actually. I think I want to hold on to the Industrial Revolution. Okay, that's cool. So I don't play any cards. The favor of the gods would have allowed me to play a few cards during the Destiny action. But I think I want to do that then. So I'm going to throw away this one. Damn. On the other hand, I need cards. So I'm going to play that favor of the gods anyway. Okay. The target empire can play events it could normally play during Civilized. So, I'm going to play the urban riots. I mean, before I just discard that stuff, I can also play it, right? So, reduce all level 3, 5, and 7 cities in a target empire by 1 level. Wow, it's pretty painful if you play that on the right empire. Well, number 1 is right now the yellow player. So, I mean, we could reduce their empire's money by 1, but they have so much, yeah. It might be worth it. Reduce all these cities by 1. I wonder who else is vulnerable here. Well, I think it's even worse for the Satavahana. They would really suffer. The yellow player, he has a lot of income. So I'm pretty sure he can simply afford to buy, him off of these disorder problems here. Okay. Anyway, the yellow player is in the lead, so I'm going to play the urban riots here. And I'm going to force him to reduce all these cities by 1 level. Okay, well actually, the red player says, I don't want that to happen. I don't want that these urban riots weaken the Japanese. So he plays the bad augury. Play when any event card is played, discard the card, it is no effect. Okay. And the reason for that is because the red player wants to grab the Japanese, and that would only weaken their prey. And that's what they don't want. So, will they play anything else? Not sure. What about that one? Remove an artifact from target empire. It goes back 1 progress. He might actually do that, but, well, I mean, why not? Chaos. Well... Let's see. Okay, so I think that the pink player is going to play that chaos marker on the French. So the French lose Christianity. And because now they have 0 artifacts, Voltaire does not have any more effect, so they don't gain any more points for having artifacts. And then the French fall back 1 space. Which could be actually a little advantage for them, because they don't have to enter that Dark Age that way, but okay. So now they're also going to play that card or throw away that card, and then they can draw up to 5 cards. The Vikings or Danes, wow, they might be kind of interesting. They could be played. And, well, they gain points for being a big seafaring nation. So maybe they could work together with the English. But it's going to be hard now that the Irish kind of expanded here already. And the Irish have that pact with the English not to attack each other. So I guess Yeah, I guess I want to keep that promise. The Hittites, well, they suck. The Harappans, also pretty bad card here. The Poles, well, they could be started again. Maybe that's not such a bad idea. That might be an option. Zanga. Okay. Well, maybe the Danes, maybe the Poles, I'm not sure. Pink is in big trouble and it's not getting much better for him. So that was the only Destiny action we'll see, and now we definitely come to the highlight of this turn. It's going to be now a Civilized action by the red player, and that might be actually the action that might decide the outcome of the game, because the red player is going to play now a flood onto the Japanese Empire, and they don't have anything to cancel that. I wonder if anybody else has a card to cancel that, but I don't think so. Okay, so no, what happens is every land area adjacent to one river passing through target empire gets a disorder marker. Okay, so basically I'm gonna take that river here, this one. So these two land areas will get a disorder marker. That doesn't sound very impressive. Well, that's just the beginning. Okay, so there we go. What happens now is, now I'm going to play the new dynasty. If you can run another empire, and the red player can do that, you may play this on an empire that has 2 or more disordered areas. You control that empire. Take its card and replace all its unit with yours. The player losing the empire may place 1 disorder in every undisordered land there. Okay, so this is now one of these actions that can make a good friend to a, well, maybe not that great friend anymore. I know some people who would have been really pissed if I have done something like that to them. And that's the good thing about solitaire play. You can do the real nasty things and nobody gets angry. So, yeah, that's basically it. You control that empire. So the Japanese are now controlled by the red player instead of the yellow player. Pretty crazy card. Lots of problems for yellow. Well, not too many problems. In a way, simply gone. I mean, he was clearly in the lead. He was clearly the one everybody thought he could win. But now, with this maneuver, it's probably going to be red. Because, I mean, obviously, the yellow player will place everywhere disorder markers. But it's not that bad, because there are many units, and it's basically these sea spaces controlled by the Japanese, which bring a lot of income, and these few here. But there it isn't too hard to remove disorder. Also, the Japanese have 29 bucks, and they go, of course, also to the yellow, to the red player. So now we have to kind of exchange all the units first. Okay, so we're done here. The colors have changed, and we didn't have enough units to convert them all, especially the ships. Well, basically only the ships. We didn't have enough ships to convert all the naval units. But anyway, in addition, we find disorder markers in every land area, but that's not so bad here, because we have a lot of money. And I'm still in the civilized action. So what the red player can do now is he can play the copper mine onto the Japanese, and that gives them 10 additional bucks. So they are at 39. And then we can promote a leader. So let's see. The Japanese are in age 6 and they don't have a leader there anymore. So we can draw a standard one. That's a tactician, we don't want that. Pretty isolated, you, and no leader. And I think I can make 3. Yeah, I have another pick here. A populist. That's pretty perfect, because we're gonna put that populist here to Honshu, and he makes it easier to get rid of disorder. So that's pretty much exactly what we wanted. A popular new dynasty. Perfect. Now we can modernize our units, and that's also something we're going to do. We're going to modernize this guy here into a better ship, a cruiser, I think it was. Yeah. Okay, and that's it for now. And now we could urbanize. I'm not sure if I want to do this though. Well, I could build a city here, and I still had enough units to get rid of the disorder there without paying. So I think I will actually at least urbanize 1 area, maybe even 2. Yeah, I only could do an urbanize action here. Everywhere else, the cities are already at level 5. Actually, I don't control too many land areas. I only control 1, 2. I think I only control 5 land areas, and the rest is basically the sea. So I'm not that big, but still, I can generate an enormous amount of glory points here. And now we can remove disorder by paying 7 bucks per space. So now let's see where I want to do that. So that's 7, and that is 14. And, well, I might have enough money to remove it everywhere. Let's see. So 35, yeah, I need 35 to remove it everywhere. So I'm going to do... No, actually, I would need a little more. So I'm going to remove it here, in these areas, but not up here in the mountain, or in that area here. Although that kind of sucks. No, I'm gonna leave it here, and then remove it there instead. Okay, so I removed 5 disorder markers. What is that? Oh, that was my capital, actually. So I didn't remove a disorder marker, but a capital instead. That's interesting. So let's see. Well, I can actually afford to remove 5 disorder markers. Yeah, all of my disorder markers. Gotta pay lots of money for that, 35 bucks. But hey, in the end, that's not such a big deal because, yeah, I got a flourishing empire now. Got to do another maneuver action in the next turn. I become the biggest on the sea then. And in a following turn, I might simply do another production action then, and I'm back and also the richest empire again. So that was a pretty exciting action, I guess. Well, but I'm absolutely not sure if I should do that. I don't know really. Because if I leave these two disorder markers here, I could easily remove them at the end of the next maneuver phase because of that populist. I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna save these 14 bucks, so I got 18 bucks, and I'm still the richest, so that gives, yeah, that's even better for me now. Okay, and then the Satavahana also do a civilized action. Okay, so I guess what the Satavahana do is they play this equine fever, destroy all cavalry units except tanks in one area in a target empire. So they're gonna attack here the yellow player, the modern state. So that massive army will pretty sure no longer be that terribly massive. They're gonna lose all their cavalry units. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that might not be so bad. Okay, it seems like they were kind of lucky. Well, yeah, few are gone. That one, this one. Is that cavalry? I think so. Yeah, that's horse artillery. Okay, so that goes also away. And these, well, that was kind of painful. No doubt here. Okay, so that's... I won't play any more cards. The Satavahana could now promote a leader. I'm gonna do that. That is a philosopher, which is good, I think. And we're gonna place that guy here. Or that lady. Now they can modernize their units. So basically that means they now can get the musketmen. They're pretty behind, as you can see. But that is not bad. That helps them quite a bit. They have lots of that type. Can they build the cannon? Yeah, they also can build a cannon. So that means that the bowman can be now flipped onto that cannon side. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, here we are. Okay. And yeah, also here actually. Was about time. Now they can urbanize. So, well, basically they're gonna improve that city to a level 5 city, I guess. Okay, here we are, a beautiful level 5 city. And that's then basically it for the Satavahana. We come now to the discard empire phase. I think nobody else wanted to do a civilized action. No. And also no empire is discarded now. So then we move ahead. The Japanese now end up in a dark age, which sucks a bit, but okay. And you see these guys moving on. Oh, wait a second. I don't know. Wait a minute. The Ethiopians are in that dark age. The English have Newton. This guy is a scientist. So they can easily move on. But the Americans are also kind of stuck here. They move on. So do they. And they... Okay, so... The Japan... No, wait a minute. Ah, damn it. This is now the Japanese. I don't know what that marker was. But they are no longer in the game for quite... these were the Melanesians, actually. But they were discarded in the last turn. Okay, and finally the Satavahana. No, these are the Armenians. Okay. And then we can harvest glory. So, let's start with the red player. 1 point, 3 points for the Zimbabweans. 2 points for the Irish. What about being the biggest Christian empire? Well, they might actually be number 3. They control 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. The Dutch only control 4 spaces. The Ethiopians only control 3 spaces. Who else is Christian? The States and the French. What? Wait a minute. No, the French are no longer Christian. That was removed. See, that's kind of funny. So that means they are actually the second biggest Christian empire right now, behind the United States. So therefore the Irish actually generate 4 points. This is not bad. And then the Japanese. So that is 1 point. They are still biggest in the world, so 3. They are richest, that is then 5, and it's still the usual 8 points, but because they are in a dark age, 4 points for them now. 2, 3, 4. Well, that was a pretty successful turn for red, I guess. And well, basically he only has to get the Japanese out of the dark age, and it's going to be very hard for anybody to stop him then. The Satavahana gain 4 points, as they do, I don't know, since, I don't know, for maybe 20 hours or something like that. The Russians, well, that's 3 points for the Russians, for being biggest in Europe and controlling his homeland. The Hausa, well, they gain only 1 point for their homeland. The States, well, that's 2 points for the Americas, and now 2 points for being the biggest Christian country. Wait a second, the Armenians are also Christian. I forgot about that. So it's only 1 point for the Irish. They are only the 3rd biggest Christian country, because of course the Armenians are also Christian, and they are definitely bigger than the Irish, but I'm not sure if they are bigger than the US. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh no, the US are definitely bigger here, no doubt. So the US are the biggest Christian country. That gives them 2 points then, and so 4 points for the US overall. They are now coming. This is now clearly a rising nation. Took them a while, but now they're doing fine. The Dutch, yeah, they are in trouble. Actually, they entered a new age. So Rembrandt died. Which is a problem for them because, well, they still have 3 artifacts. The Forum here and these 2, democracy and Christianity. So they are actually still number 1. It's yeah, they are still number 1 when it comes to artifacts. No doubts here. So that gives them overall still 3 points. Not too bad, actually, not too bad. 3. And finally the Vietnamese, well, they are out of that dark age. So that's 1, 2, 5 points for the Vietnamese. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they have even more catched up now with the red player, and this is going to be a very, very close race. The pink player. Okay, 2 points for the Armenians for being the 2nd biggest Christian country, but I mean this is ridiculous. The Ethiopians, well, that's only 1 point for them. They are even no longer number 2 in Africa because the French are now number 2 in Africa. And the English, well, okay, they are doing fine. Their homeland, they are only 2nd biggest with their colonies. The French and the English both have 4 colonies. No, the French are actually behind in turn order. So they have the most colonies. That gives them 4 then. And what about the fleet? I think they have the 2nd biggest fleet. Is that so? Yeah, they have the 2nd biggest fleet. So that's overall then 5 points for the English. Well, at least something. 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a shame that he didn't manage to get these other guys going. Okay, so finally we see the French. They're doing also very good. Sadly, they've lost their artifact. Still, their homeland, they have the 2nd most colonies. That will probably change in the next turn, then they will have the most, I guess. So that gives them 3 overall. They are 2nd biggest in Europe, so 4 points for the French. That's not bad. For the yellow player, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the modern state, well, that is a single point for the modern state here. So overall, the yellow player was doing bad in this turn, which is no surprise because he lost Japan. And he's fallen now behind. But it's so damn close. I mean, it's awesome. That's what I was hoping for, that we see a close finish here, if we can call it a finish. I mean, there are still a few turns to go, but that's pretty cool. Although I fear that the gray player and the yellow player might fall behind pretty badly if they don't come up with a great idea. Maybe the Dutch are not doing that bad for now with their 3 points. That's okay, I guess. Maybe it's not necessary to discard them right now. Okay, so yeah, that's basically the end. It was a long turn. We've seen amazingly cool things. This whole army of the Armenians converted to that modern state. But then there came this equine fever, which weakened them a little bit. Of course, that completely crazy thing with the new dynasty in Japan. We've seen these cool invasions here in Egypt and Carthage by the French. And actually the Irish start growing. So there is a lot of great stuff now going on. Also the states are becoming kind of a power now. I'm pretty sure the remainder of the game will also be a real interesting one. So I hope to see you in my next video or on lonesomegamer.com. Bye.